Salutations, good people, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us once again here on Tinso's African Excursions. Today we are making a hot peanut butter squash with roast pork and an apple chutney. So follow us today as we make this recipe. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So today, here are our ingredients for the dish for today. Very simple and quick to make. So first of all, we have our apples and onions. These are for apple chutney. And then next we are going to spice that up with some paprika to give it a bit of color. So have our ground paprika over there to give it color and depth. Then we have cumin seeds to give that earthiness and to give a punch to our chutney, as well as sugar and chili flakes. We also have malt vinegar to give that tanginess and acidity and to break down, make the apples tender. Then sweet chili to give that sweet balance as well. And then we move on to our pumpkin squash. You can use butternut squash as well for this. And yeah, so we have our pumpkin squash over here. Then we have our sugar and red chili flakes. We need to give it a bit of sweet and chili to that. And then we have our peanut butter. So yeah, basically you want to steam your pumpkin squash as well, so the sugar and the chili will cut through will give it a balance. And now we are going to season our pork. So I've got some peppercorns and then some salt as well. So just gonna grind that up, give it that. We need it to be nice and tender, so we're just going to grind our peppercorns as well, and we are going to rub it in to the meat. So we're going to add thyme as well. Have that herby balance of flavor to our roast pork, and so you're going to rub it in so that the flavors will nicely get into the meat. And we'll add our oil. You do this on both sides. Yeah, we're just gonna cut the other side, but you do this rubbing method on both sides. Make sure the flavor is nicely marinating and coating on all of your pork. And then we are going to make some incisions on that thick fat as well, so that our pork cooks evenly and nicely and it won't curl up. So that will help as we put it in the oven as well. So you want your pork to be nice and evenly cooked, and then that fat will actually reduce down, will burn off, and that's what you need, that crackly pork fat. That's how I like my fat as well. Get it nice and crackly as well. So you want to put that in the oven, maximum heat. I put it on 230 degrees on the grill setting. And so yeah, now going to move on to our main dish. So we're going to add oil to both our pans. I have a small pan for my apple chutney, and then a larger pot for the pumpkin. So the pumpkin squash, it actually has to steam because it has a lot of water content. So you just want to add a bit of oil to that as well. And then you dump in your pumpkin squash or butternut squash. And you add just a bit of water because itself it will release a lot of water, so you don't want it to be mushy. If you want it mushy, then you can add as much water as you want, but I recommend you add a little water, just a bit of water, and then put some salt and then put the lid on top. So the reason why we also add a little bit of water, so that they don't stick to the pot before they start steaming. So in the other pan where we're making our chutney, I'm adding some cumin seeds. So we're just going to fry them a bit to release all that nice earthy flavor, and it will nicely start burning off into the pan, and that will flavor our oil as well. So that's what you need to do first. You need to put cumin seeds. If you want, you can also add cinnamon sticks. I do not have any cinnamon. And then yeah, I can also add cloves as well to that if you want. So now we're adding in our apple and onions. Oops, got some fire flambe going on over there. Then you just want to nicely coat your fruit and your veggie. You can also use mango for this if you want a mango chutney. Yeah, there are a lot of variations. You can use peach, you can use apricots, you can also use pear. You don't limit yourself when it comes to cooking, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to play with all our food and balance everything all together. So that chutney, we want it to be tangy and sweet as well, so that it will cut through the pork, the roast pork as well, and you have that nice sauce element to the pork, so that it's not as dry. So that's the chutney, that's what it's for. So we're just gonna toast it gently as well as we make our onions translucent, and we try to get the onions tender as well, and we add some salt to it. Everything goes well with salt, guys. Always season your food. Yes, so yeah, we're just gonna let that cook for a bit, 2-3 minutes, so that our onions will nicely soften, as well as you are checking up on your butternut squash as it steams on. So the basic idea here is to get your apples a bit crispy as well on the outside, because we are just going to make them tender with that vinegar. You can, in terms of vinegar, you can use apple cider vinegar, you can use white vinegar, you can use white wine vinegar. You can also, I'm using malt vinegar because I need it for that depth of color as well. Now we're adding sugar and chili flakes. So you want to have a ratio of about 1:3, 3 sugar and 1 dried chili flakes, because we want it to be sweet as well. The chutney is meant to be a bit sweeter and tangy, so you get that balance. And so it will also help to balance with the sweet with the peanut butter pumpkin squash. So we're just gonna mix that as well. Make sure it's nicely evenly coated around your fruit and your onions, and then yeah, we're just gonna do that. Keep it there, and then as well checking on our peanut butter on our squash. Make sure it's steaming up nicely. If the water is finishing, just add a bit more water. That's it. And now we're adding paprika for that depth of color as well to our chutney. And yeah, you can just put accordingly to make sure that it nicely coats all your elements together. So you can use also ground paprika and smoky paprika to get that smoky element. So now we're just putting in our malt vinegar, so this helps with acidity and also makes the apples nice and tender. So that will just reduce down as well. You want to have it on a medium heat, not too much hot. You want to have that on medium heat, and this also the vinegar is also deglazing the pan, bringing all those flavors back up. The cumin seeds and the paprika, we're just gonna add some more paprika because the color is was a bit too much white. So now I need to get it to be more deep in color, a red color that we need, the ember. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. So mixing that up again. So make sure all the chili flakes, cumin seeds, all the onions, all your apple nicely coated, and it's nicely reducing within that vinegar, that malt vinegar. You want to watch your heat as well, because you don't want the vinegar to quickly reduce from the pan, otherwise it will defeat the whole purpose. So you can see we're testing the tenderness. You can also put a lid on that when you put it on low heat, and yeah, make sure you watch it as well. So as you can see, that's what we're trying to get to now, and yeah, just giving it tasty. Yeah, keep it like that. Just toss it, keep tossing it, make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom. This is the part where you want to keep your eye on your pan as you monitor the progress, as well as try to check the levels of your vinegar so that it doesn't dissolve quickly. otherwise it will defeat the whole purpose of adding it. And so now we're going to add in our sweet chili, more sweetness to our, because the apples are not as sweet, so just gonna add more sweet chili. And then you add a bit of water as well, and then and vinegar, and then reduce the heat to minimum. Make sure it reduces. You want it to be a nice consistent flavor, nice consistent thickness. So now I've just put sugar and chili flakes to our butternut squash. Let it steam together inside, because now the butternut squash is now steaming on its own. It's releasing its own water, so that's good for us. And now we're gonna add our peanut butter, our star of the dish, and you want to put in a generous amount of that, and then you mix it all together. Let it reduce. This version of mine, it was a bit mushier because I added a lot of water. And yeah, so that's our dish, ladies and gentlemen. Finito finito. Hope you enjoy this dish and hope you try it at home. Cheers.